This call is now being recorded.
You know they talk. You know they talk.
Okay, my apologies. I think my mic was on, was off. Like I said, my name is Agbo James, and we're about to commence safety in waste management industry. Well, hand you over to the instructor for today, for today's class, Mr. Peter Isitre.
Eh? 1,000.
We find others who would join would admit them in, but we have to commence the class now. Thank you. Mr. Peter Isitre, your class.
All right. Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies. You're welcome to Safety and Waste Management as we're going to have it today. I'm glad meeting you. I'm excited, and I hope you too. We've been in the Google Classroom and we're trying to upload materials for you and see how we can get everything going. Finally, we are meeting. I'm going to share my screen now so that we'll dive in straight ahead. All right. Can you see my screen now?
No.
Okay. Let me try again. Now.
No, it's not on yet.
You said what? I didn't get your response.
Yes, it's just
You
coming
can
up.
see it now.
Okay.
You can see it now, yeah.
All right. Okay, so today we're looking at safety in waste management industry. Today we're going to look at part one, and this consists of 4 lessons. We're going to look at safety responsibilities, human and environmental conditions leading to accidents in the workplace, personal protective equipment, and finally manual handling operations. Now, it's good for us to bear in mind that this program is sponsored by Greenbelt Africa and co-funded by European Union, um, on a mission to equip Nigerians and Ghanaians on green waste management capacity building. That is why we're all here. Okay, so going forward, lesson one for today, we're going to look at safety responsibilities. Our objective on this lesson is to understand the concept of safety, to understand the employer's responsibilities towards safety, and also understand employees' responsibilities towards safety. A very good question is asked, what is safety? If I throw this question open to us now, for us to tell me what we perceive or what we think safety is in our the way we view it. We all have uh, a relative explanation that may try to maybe sync to become the same thing, but in the end, I know there will be slight difference in our definitions and explanation, but all will boil down towards having a safe and free environment. I'm going to play this short video for us. It will help to guide us through.
What is safety and why is it important? Safety is the state of freedom from harm.
I believe we can all still see my screen.
We can only see the slide, but we're not seeing the video.
Okay. What about now?
Yeah, it's on now.
Okay.
What is safety and why is it important? Safety is the state of freedom from harm, danger or injury. Moreover, it is a concept that includes all measures and practices taken to preserve the life, health, and bodily integrity of individuals. Ensuring the safety of workers is both necessary and beneficial for any organization. There are reasons for maintaining and promoting good standards of health and safety in the workplace. 3 of which are the moral, financial, and legal reasons. Healthy organizations hold their employees to the most valued asset and take every precaution known to protect their employees' health and safety. Any accident or ill health will cost both direct and indirect losses. Moreover, any accident in the workplace will have a financial consequence. A small accident can result in lost time to the business, which can inadvertently affect productivity and profits. Investigation time can take people away from their normal What is safety and why is it important? Safety is the state of freedom from harm, danger or injury. Moreover, it is a concept that includes all measures and practices taken to preserve the life, health, and bodily integrity of individuals. Ensuring the safety of workers is both necessary and beneficial for any organization. There are reasons for maintaining and promoting good standards of health and safety in the workplace. 3 of which are the moral, financial, and legal reasons. Healthy organizations hold their employees to the most valued asset and take every precaution known to protect their employees' health and safety. Any accident or ill health costs both direct and indirect losses. Moreover, any accident in the workplace will have financial consequences. Small accidents can result in lost time to the business, which can inadvertently affect productivity and profits. Investigation time can take people away from their normal daily job. People may need to be trained to replace the injured or sick person. Others may have to increase their workload to cover the injured or sick person's tasks. Since health and safety is a law, a legal requirement in most countries, regulatory bodies require employers to put in place arrangements to control health and safety risks. Non-compliance will attract punishment in terms of fines, imprisonment, or the business may be shut down by regulatory bodies. So, the importance of safety cannot be overemphasized. Safety is the responsibility of everyone, everywhere. All jobs have hazards. So in order to make the workplace safe and prevent or reduce hazards, both the employer and the employees must follow safety procedures. While employers hold most of the responsibility for all health and safety matters, all employees play a crucial role in preventing accidents and work-related illness. It is the responsibility of all working people to keep themselves and others safe at the workplace by working together to promote safety.
All right. That's a very wonderful short video there, trying to explain what safety is to us. I believe we enjoyed it and we learned something from it. Now, going ahead, a very good question for us to. Now, we're going to look at. Sorry, I'm having technical challenge here. Can you all view my screen now, please?
No.
No.
Hello?
No.
I'm sharing my screen. You cannot view it.
It's up but not bold.
Please, you can view my screen. Let me know.
Stop now. We can see it now.
Okay. So sorry for that interruption. I'm having a little technical challenge here. Okay, so it is good for us to know and understand that safety is a key factor in our day-to-day life, um, especially if we want to stay free from accidents. We must ensure that we do all we can to ensure that we are safe in our workplace, on the street, even in our homes. But now our energy is channeled specifically on waste management. So if finding ourselves in waste management operation environment is important that we adhere to safety guidelines that are laid down according to the operational environment requirements. So, who is responsible for safety? Of course, everyone is responsible for safety. It's everyone's business. Let's say you one try to avoid or ignore the call to safety, um, that it does not concern you directly or indirectly. The effect will still come back to you. Imagine in a working environment where you are safe, but your colleagues are not safe, or your colleagues are safe, you are not safe. When accidents eventually occur, not only the physical effect will be felt, but also the psychological effect within the working environment will be felt. A lot of people will destabilize, especially some persons have a phobia for blood. Um, when accident happen, possibility of death will be there. So when such occasion arises, some persons will be destabilized. Some persons will not be able to carry on their daily activity. They will need to seek for counsel to be able to overcome the trauma that of the event that took place. So you see that directly or indirectly, we all have a role to play to ensure that we keep our environment, our working place safe. Now, we're going to look at employers' responsibilities towards safety. First, it is the responsibility of every employer to assess and identify potential hazard. Now, while we're talking about waste management operation, what are the hazards associated to waste management operation? the employers or individuals who own waste management operation system within a particular place, it is their responsibility to ensure that they carry out risk assessment uh, in relation to waste management operation. Also establish precautionary measures, having assessed the kind of risk that exists within the working environment. It is important to establish precautionary measures. Some of these hazards may be eliminated. Some may not be eliminated. For some that cannot be eliminated, they can be substituted for, and for some that cannot be substituted for, we can adopt engineering procedure. For some that engineering procedure cannot take care of, administrative measures can be taken into consideration. And if that cannot be taken into consideration, then the final one is PPE, which is also a part of a lesson which we are going to discuss today. Now, point here is establishing precautionary measures. The risk has been identified. So measures to go around this risk while we discharge our duties has to be put in place, and it is the responsibility of the employer to do this. Thirdly, it is the responsibility of the employer to provide information on risk identified to all employees. So certain risks have been identified in the working environment. Let's say a kind of risk that cannot be eliminated. Some is a kind of risk that will have to exist while work is being discharged. Now, it is important that the employer inform all the employees within the working environment of the existing hazard, in order for them to take necessary precautionary action while discharging their duty. To clearly state how employees are protected. So the risk from the hazard has been identified. Now, it is also important that ways and measures to be protected while our duties are being carried out must also be clearly stated. Also, provide training. Every employee must be trained by the employer about the risk and the hazard that exists within the working environment. The idea is that no one should be in the blind spot. No one should be in the dark. And no one should work ignorantly based on the type of hazard or risk that exists within the working environment. Now, consult the health and the safety committee around health and safety issues. So it's also important that the employer seek for certified safety personnel. Safety personnel to come and take necessary safety assessment within the working environment. Also, provide clothing and equipment for the workers. It is the responsibility of the employer to provide personal protective equipment for the employees. Also, supervision must be allocated to a trained employee. So the employer must not give a key role to someone who does not have basic training of the type of operation that is going on, most especially the safety aspect of the working environment. And also take steps to ensure that all staff members are compliant. So the supervisors who knows the safety measures will be able to monitor employees while discharging their duty, to point out any occasion of misconduct, or to point out occasions where the already stated precautionary measures maybe is not meeting up according to operational tasks within the environment, it is also important that newer measures are devised. There should be a continuous review. There should be a continuous review of the precautionary measures that are being outlined, and the supervisors have to take have to take this into account to ensure that everything is going as planned. Now, what is the responsibility of the employees? First, follow all safety procedures and rules as stated by your employer. It is your responsibility to protect yourself, and one of the ways of protecting yourself is by following the safety guidelines that has been stated. Two, insist on receiving proper training. Do not work or do not discharge any duty without proper training on how to do it, because that will create an unsafe condition, and eventually, because you are doing something that you are not trained of, definitely you are going to end up in an unsafe act. Report any hazard. You see anything that that poses risk to you, to your colleague, or to the equipment or machinery within the working environment, it is important that you report it. Also, keep your work area clean and tidy. Good housekeeping is very important. We cannot overemphasize the need for good housekeeping. If you don't clean, insects, rodents, termites, you can name them, they become the family members in the workplace. So it's important that our working environment is clean. Also, put on your protective clothing. The idea of your protective clothing is to keep you safe, to minimize the impact of the existing hazard or risk within your working environment. So put it on at all times. We understand that sometimes some of protective gears may not be as elegant as we would want it to be, may not be fitting, may not be attractive as we want it to be. Now, ignore the aspect of beauty, ignore the aspect of comfort, ignore all anything that you that would make you not to use your protective gear, as long as you are to discharge your operations. Put on the necessary PPE that your employer has provided for you. Now, if you have an illness or condition, make sure your supervisor is aware. Now, the idea of is a way of reporting yourself to your supervisor. The idea of reporting yourself is that you don't end up working in an impaired condition. Someone who is not in good state of mind and body will eventually exhibit an unsafe act, and the result of unsafe act usually end either in accident, which could lead to loss of life or destruction of property. We don't want that. So it's important that you report yourself to your supervisor, so your supervisor can give you a sick leave or find someone that can assist you or support you to do the job you are doing. Now, discuss any concerns you have with your health and safety responsibilities. If there are things that you perceive or you see that are not suitable, or you think that are not right according to your working environment, it's important that you discuss it with your supervisor so that necessary actions, as you have suggested, may be looked into and implemented. Take your work seriously. It's important that you take your work very serious. If you are involved in any accident, report it immediately. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to hide it, because you must continue your work. So if you incur any injury while you're discharging your duty, report yourself so that necessary medical assistance will be rendered. So in all, responsibility towards safety, both the employer and the employee plays vital role in our own respective area of work. We play a vital role towards safety. It's important that we adhere to our own role and ensure that we do it rightly. Any question? Any question? I hope I'm not alone.
See you. We're with you.
Okay. All right. So we're going to look at the second lesson, which is human and environmental conditions leading to accidents in the workplace. So the objective of this lesson is to, one, look at factors that affect safety, understand what we mean by unsafe act, understand unsafe condition, safety rules, and possible causes of an accident within environment. So there are key factors. There are key factors that we are going to look at. One is the individual factor, two is the workplace factor, and three is the management factor. Now, these three aspects have a way of affecting the work that we do. As an individual, the question will be put across: do you have the right knowledge for the work you are doing? What expectation do you have from the work you are doing? What is the intention for doing the work you are doing? What is the goal? What is the health? What is your health condition as an individual? How much fatigue can you handle? What is your age bracket? The culture, stress. These are factors that we looked at come from the individual. Now, if either of this is altered, especially when it comes to health, if it is altered, you see that you definitely have there's what we call domino effect. We'll surely have what we call domino effect. That is, from a point to another point, something led to one and to the other. For example, imagine as an individual, you had issue while going to work, and it was a really big one that an individual experienced while going to work. If not properly taken care of, you will find out that you will go to work. Most of the time at work, the thought of the issue you have had before you came to work will be in your mind, and the effect of it is that you are going to lose concentration. Your thinking will not be coordinated. There are a whole lot of things that will come to play, and in the end, you will find yourself exhibiting unsafe acts, which might end up in accident, and we don't want that. We don't want such a thing to happen. And that's why in some companies, in a way of trying to motivate their workers, they will put in the entrance of on the entrance of the company, keep your problem by the gate. It's just a way of trying to motivate workers to, not to carry on with the issues they've had before they came to work, and it's a way of it's a safety motivation to workers. Now, another thing that can affect the safety in a place is the workplace, how the place is designed, the facility layout, the workstation configuration, the accessibility. Now, how is the workstation like? What is the feedback like? Do you have warning signs? What are the control measures? The amount of noise generated, the environment, temperature, the exposure limits, and all of the way of affecting us now. How are the management managing both the human and the equipment in the environment? The organization of the work, the policies made, decisions made, work scheduling, workload, work tasks, and the job requirements, communication. Communication. How effective is the communication between the management and the workers? All this put in place has a way, if not properly thought of and guided, have a negative way of affecting us in our working environment. Now, we're going to look at unsafe act. So, what is an unsafe act? Unsafe act is any action, intentional or intentional, that we exhibit within uh, uh, within a work environment that is threatening to the life of individual or the people around the individual, and this could lead to accident in the workplace. Now, if you look at the picture on the screen right now, one on the right, one on the left, analyzing this, channeling it towards waste management industry, you find that on my right hand side, which could be on your left, depending on how the viewing of your screen, you can see these two men trying to carry a load up. Now, it's an unsafe act for you to carry a heavy load. It's an unsafe act for you to carry a heavy load because uh, there are chances of incurring what we call musculoskeletal disorder, incurring injury as a result of overloading yourself. See, they are stressing themselves to ensure that they carry this load to move it to wherever they want to. Now, this is an unsafe act because they are putting themselves in harm's way. Now, on the left, you can see a lady pouring out dirt on the street. This is an indiscriminate disposal of waste. Now, we are affecting our environment. It's an unsafe act. This has to stop because, in the end, these wastes are not properly disposed, and it will lead to generating diseases, infections of different kinds within the environment. The animals in the environment are affected, the pets, even human beings are affected. So it is important that we desist from indiscriminate disposal of waste. Now, World Bank reports that the global waste will grow by 70% in year 2050 unless urgent action is being taken. And one of the actions is what Greenbelt is looking into to ensure that we have proper training on how to manage waste within our environment. Now, looking at these two pictures too, you can see this vehicle is overloaded and people are sitting on it. They are putting themselves in harm's way. They are putting themselves in harm's way. If anything should happen to any part of this vehicle, particularly the tire, all the people on this vehicle are going to incur a certain degree of injury, and possibility of death is here. It's important that we avoid occasions like we do see this on our road. Uh, we do see this on our road. The transporters, those who transport goods from one place to the other, this is an unsafe act, and it should be discouraged. Now, looking at the other picture by my right, you see the way this car is lifted and is being held with two sticks. Now, the weight of this car can break this stick, and the individual walking below, of course, crushed. First, using the wrong mechanism to lift the car and to hold it in position. Secondly, walking underneath this car. The whole thing is just not welcoming. The individual is exhibiting an unsafe act. Slight just slight movement of this stick, this car falls back on him and he is crushed. Now, also looking at this industrially, you can see at the top, this man is carrying out a hot work operation, and the iron filings from the hot work he's doing is constantly pouring on a cylinder, pouring on the cylinder. Now, he does not have the slightest idea of the catastrophe that this cylinder can cause upon explosion. And when that happens, we will say that terrorist has visited. No, it is because an individual is exhibiting an unsafe act in the workshop. It should be avoided. Now, looking at the second picture, you can see someone using a forklift to gain height to be able to access a load on the shelf. Why not use a ladder? Or why not use other safe means to gain height to access whatever you have on the shelf? This is an unsafe act. Now, the last picture, rather than using harness and a better platform to be able to discharge this job safely, you can see the individual being held up with a piece of wood. I don't understand. I've not been able to fathom why this type of work practice is being exhibited in this working environment. All these are examples of unsafe acts that we exhibit or that we see that people exhibit within the working environment, and it should be avoided. It should be discouraged. Now, we're looking at unsafe condition. Unsafe condition is a situation or a condition where we'll have a high risk, a potential high risk or hazard existing within the working environment, which is threatening to life and maybe the property around. Now, looking at the picture that we'll have on the screen, you can see this picture is showing a part of a community where we'll have a water log, and in this water log is filled with lots and different kinds of waste in it. Now, this environment is unsafe. How? Because it's going to be home for different kinds of insects, most especially mosquito. This will be a breeding home for mosquito, and we don't need mosquito because we know that the end point of the effect of mosquito biting us is malaria. Now, this place is going to be oozing out with a lot of stink, a lot of smell, which will be uncomfortable for people to live freely. Also, the effect of this is that the dirt we have in this place can affect the aquatic life. When rain falls, all these will be washed away into a water body, and it will end up affecting aquatic life, the fishes, the shrimps, the crayfish, you name them. So we need to avoid conditions like this because they are not hygienic to our health. Now, in operation, looking at this, you can see electrical cable on the floor, on a wet floor. That is an unsafe condition. If you are to carry out any operation that involves electricity in a wet floor, that's a very serious unsafe condition. It should be avoided. Then the man on the second picture by my right, you can see the man trying to fix something on the line. This is just serious chaos. Where will you start your troubleshooting from, and where are you going to end? It's just total chaos. There should be an orderliness. There should be an orderliness on how this should be arranged and properly done. Now, let us look at safety rules, basic safety rules. What we have here is not limited to. It is not limited to, but because of time, we're going to look at these few safety rules. One, you are responsible for your own safety. I have mentioned this before. You are responsible for your own safety and the safety of others. Now, you don't have to play the role of an island, taking care of yourself alone and neglecting others. You take care of yourself and you also take care of others. Wear your personal protective equipment when necessary. It is important. Always use equipment, tools, machinery safely and properly. If you don't know how to use any equipment, seek for training, proper training before you use any equipment. Lift properly using your legs and not your back. I will emphasize on this when we get to the fourth lesson, which is manual handling. Keep your work area clean. We cannot overemphasize the need for cleanliness. Of course, for some of us that are Christians, the scripture has stated that cleanliness is next to godliness. Wear appropriate and safe work clothing and footwear. Do not wear what you feel is better or what you feel is comfortable for you or what you feel is what you have or what you need to do your job. Let it be the right PPE that you are putting on. Report any unsafe condition. I have mentioned this before. It's part of the responsibilities of an employee. Report any unsafe condition so that necessary safety actions will be taken to either eliminate or substitute the condition. Clean up spills immediately. Now, you don't have to wait until the janitors come to clean, for example, your office. Some kind of liquid has spilled on the floor or in the workshop. You don't have to wait for the janitors to come. Pick up a mop, it's as simple as that, and clean up the liquid on the floor that has spilled. If you don't have the time to do it at when it happened, ensure you call someone that will do it as quickly as possible. First, you can do it yourself. Secondly, if you cannot do it yourself, quickly appoint somebody who will attend to it to ensure that it is eliminated. Now, report all injuries so that necessary medical treatment will be administered. No alcohol or drugs to be used or allowed on company property. You don't have to take drugs to work. And if you are taking too much alcohol, so saying, thank God it's Friday, thank God it's Saturday, thank God it's Sunday, celebrating throughout the weekend, and going to work on a Monday, you still have degree of alcohol you have consumed over the weekend in your blood system, and it will definitely have an effect on you. Please don't go to work in bed. Do not go to work in bed. Any question? I would like to entertain question now. I hope I'm not alone.
No, you are not alone. You are not alone, sir.
Okay.
You've actually got for me, I've actually got the nugget of the message, but I still need to listen over and over it again to quickly to fully digest it. I fully ingest it rather. Ingest and digest it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Perhaps someone has a contribution to make based on what we have discussed so far. Can share one or two experience.
Can we hear me? Is it audible enough?
Please come again. I can
I
barely hear
said,
you.
am I audible enough? Good evening, everyone.
You're welcome, sir, Mr. Philip.
Yes, boss. So for me, it's an awesome training. Safety can never be overemphasized. Like it's everything about the workplace and even one's personal life. The PPE, that's the personal protective equipment, is also very important for us to know how to use it. Because I went through a training on form work and carpentry, and
Okay.
we were just taught casually on how to use PPE and not even practicalizing it. So you see guys climbing scaffolding without making use of the suspender, or what is it called? They just
Harness.
climb scaffolding 10 stories building, they're on top and that's all. So thank God we're
That
going
is
through
using
this
safety
training.
harness.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Philip. Is there anyone else that have contribution to make?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Welcome, sir, Mr. Sunday.
Yeah, good evening, sir. It's the class has been so interesting and bubbling. My personal experience was when we we had somebody that worked with us. Actually, my background is on renewable energy. Uh, we do more on solar systems and electrical installations. So we
Like your
had this
network.
guy. Hello.
I said it's like your network is poor. I can barely hear you. Your audio is kind of not stable.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, of course I can hear you. Just that the audio is not that stable. You can continue. Maybe others can hear you clearly. Can continue.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just that your audio is not stable, but you can continue. Maybe others can hear you.
Okay. So we have a colleague that unfortunately could not adhere to safety use of our equipment. He was supposed to disconnect a cable somewhere using a plier. We don't know what come over him. He just used his teeth to cut off the cable and all of that. That's how he just got electrocuted, and it took the grace of God for us to revive him back. So
Wow.
safety is cannot be underestimated.
Wow. Wow.
That is it, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sunday. Okay. Is there anyone else before we are going to observe 10 minutes break after now? If there is anyone else that has something to say concerning the topic we've had so far, before we continue, please kindly indicate and give us what you have. Okay. We'll observe a 10 minutes break. Okay. That means we're going to be back here in the next, if I check my time correctly, by 5:03, we should be back and continue the class. So we can stretch our legs, take tea for those that have tea, no, just to keep ourselves rejuvenated for the next session. All right, thank you. All right, people, gentlemen. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, Mr. Sunday, welcome back.
Thank you, sir.
I saw that you were asking if you can have a copy of this lesson.
Yes, sir.
You are not in the Google Classroom?
Google Classroom.
I sent a link to our email for us to join the Google Classroom.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Okay. While we wait for others to come, let me quickly get the link again. I'll post it here so that those who are not involved in the class should join, because it's one of the things I'm even concerned about, that in the class we're just only 8 persons. In the Google Classroom we're just only 8 persons, and we're having more than 8 attending the visual class now. So let me copy the link of the classroom and share it here online, so we can quickly, for those that are not there yet, all the materials that we need for this class are there.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I just posted it now. So if you click on the link, it will lead you to join the Google Classroom.
Okay.
I believe you have a WhatsApp group, right?
Yes. I'm in the WhatsApp
Hello?
group. Yes, I'm in the WhatsApp. Yes, I'm in the WhatsApp group.
I didn't get your response. The network is poor.
Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you now. Yes, yes.
Yes, I'm in the WhatsApp group. I'm part of.
Okay, so okay, so you can see the link now, right? I'm not on the WhatsApp group because I'm not on WhatsApp at the moment.
Okay, yes, I've joined the link.
Okay, so I will need you to help me do something. You can pick this link and paste it on your WhatsApp group, so that those who are not in the class yet can join. So safety in waste management, so that they can join in waste management industry. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So help me do that. Copy the link and paste it on your WhatsApp group, encouraging people, those that are not yet on the Google Classroom, to join the Google Classroom, because one of the things that'll be going on, materials for the class is there, 1, 2, assessment will be done in the Google Classroom. All right.
Okay.
There's an assessment for for each course you're going to have, and it is through the Google Classroom that you're going to participate in it.
Oh, I think somebody has even done that. Mr. Philip Ido has pasted it in
All right.
WhatsApp.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now we have 2 lessons left, which are going to fire on now. Okay. Now the third lesson we're having today is personal protective equipment. I believe you can still view my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So our objective is first identify various types of PPE then understand the conditions for selection and application of this PPE. So first, we're going to look at head protection. We need to bear in mind that every part of the human body is to be protected. And the type of protection is determined by the type of or the nature of work that one is carrying out. Now, it is good for us to know that we have three types of protective head equipment. We have the helmet, we have the hard hat, and we have a bomb cap. These are the three types of head protection equipment. But our focus today is on hard hat. Okay? We have the helmet, we have the hard hat, and we have the bomb cap. We're focusing on helmet. Sorry, we're focusing on hard hat today. That's our area of interest. Now, I believe we'll see these hard hats. They are color coded. We'll see them in on the street, in the construction sites, in working environment. We'll see them. I don't know how much knowledge you have, but thank God we're here now. We're looking at it. So the different color code tells us the nature of or the nature of a responsibility the individual is possessing. Now, for the white hard hat, they are for supervisors, engineers, managers, architects, and foremen. These are people who put on the white hard hat. Now, for laborers, general laborers, they're the ones that put on the yellow hard hat. Now, one thing we also have to bear in mind is this. The idea of color code is for easy identification of individual and their responsibility. Now, see the yellow hard hat for general laborers. Then the green hard hat is often worn by safety officers. They're often worn by safety officers. The brown hard hat is for workers who are involved in hot work. Workers who are involved in hot work. For example, welding operation. Workers who are involved in welding operation. Welding is a type of hot work operation. That are the people that put on the brown hard hat. The red hard hat is for firefighters. It's for firefighters. They're the ones that put on the red hard hat. Or people who are involved in emergency training. They're the ones that put on the red hard hat. Then the blue hard hat is for electricians. It's for electricians, and sometimes the medical personnel, they put on the blue hard hat. And finally, on the screen we have it here, the gray hard hat indicates that the individual is a visitor on site or within the work environment. Now, eye protection. We have the safety glasses, we have the safety goggles, and we have the face shield. Now, we have different designs of safety glasses based on their need and also compatibility with other safety gears like the hard hat, ear muff, and the nose mask and the likes. So each protective equipment is designed such that one, it is fitting, two, it is durable, three, it is the right one for the job, four, it is compatible with other personal protective equipment you are going to use it with. Now, the goggle is used for where you have high ultraviolet ray, where you have high rays like ultraviolet ray. People who do like welding. I'm talking more welding now because that's actually my major field. I'm a welder, so by profession. So we use the goggle a lot because of the ultraviolet ray that comes out from the welding puddle while the welding operation is going on. Now the face shield. The face shield you can use in a situation where you have abrasives flying up and down in the workplace, grinding operation, the abrasives are flying, you want to protect your face, you want to protect your eyes, and so on. People working in the carpentry shop, there's a lot of piece of wood flying too. So we can also use the face shield as face and eye protective gear. Excuse me. Now, hearing protection. So we have different types of hearing protection equipment. We have the earplug, we have the ear muff. Now, the amount of noise within the working environment will determine if you are going to use the earplug or you are going to use the ear muff. And also, the ear muff is categorized in different degrees depending on the amount of noise exposure. Excuse me. Depending on the amount of noise exposure. It is important to note that when you are using ear protection, when you're using an ear device, it is important to note that it should not be such that you are isolated in your working environment. It should be fitted such that you can still have a way of communicating with people around you. You should not be totally shut off, so that should there be emergency and alarm is raised, you can respond appropriately. Also, if the noise is too much, it's not something you can give a tolerance to accommodate any form of a leakage of noise into the ear. You could have a communicator attached. There are different types of ear protection gears. You can have a communicator attached to the ear muff. For example, you see those on a helicopter, the type of ear muff they have has a communicator on it, so that we can communicate within the helicopter. The pilot and the passengers can communicate easily, even with the loud noise that the engine of the helicopter is generating. They are still able to communicate to each other. Now, the allowable degree of noise within an 8-hour working environment is 80 decibel. It's 80 decibel. So anything more than that should be avoided. And one of the ways to handle this is to have using any of these ear protection devices, or having a shift. That would not be when plan and measure the exposure limit of worker within the noise environment. Then also the hand and arm protection. The hand and arm protection. Different materials are used to produce hand and arm protection based on different operational conditions. Now, excuse me, we have both rubber, leather, uh, for us that are working in cotton, the nitrile, neoprene, polyvinyl chloride. We have different, depending on the nature of the waste we are handling. That will determine the type of material, the type of hand protective material that we're going to use. So if you're handling a biological waste, we have the nitrile, for example. If you're handling physical waste like sharp objects, you have to use the leather. So if you're exposed to, if the nature of the waste to be handled will determine the type of protect hand and arm protective gear that we're to put on. Now, foot protection. We have both leather, we have both PVC, rubber, foot protection gears. We have both lace shoes and non-lace shoes. So the nature of the exposure determines the type that we are going to use. Now, your supervisor must have carried out JSA, job safety analysis, or job safety assessment, to know the type of safety gears that you're going to put on and provide them for you to be able to do your job safely. So either of these we have on the screen or more. Now, we should also bear in mind that what we're having on screen is not limited to what should be. It's not limited to what should be. So there are other types of foot protective wear that can or maybe be more appropriate, to the nature of the waste to be handled, and that should be provided. Now, protective clothing. It's important that all protective clothing has a reflector on it. It's important. All protective clothing has a reflector on it, or the clothing itself is reflective. Why should this be? The idea is that if you're walking in the dark, at a distance of a minimum of 50 meters and a maximum of 300 meters, you should be visible to someone outside your working environment. For example, now the waste management operators cleaning the highway, they need reflectors on their protective clothing so that drivers on a high speed, even at 300 meters, will be able to detect that there are people walking at the front, thereby creating a kind of consciousness in him to slow down. Do you understand? To create a consciousness in him to slow down so that he'll be able to drive past them smoothly without creating any form of tension while the people are doing their work. Also, it is a safety measure for the driver to apply necessary or to ride according to speed limit on the particular road. Now, the protective gear will have different types, as you can see it on the screen, and it's not limited to what we have on the screen. Like I've mentioned before, the type of waste to be handled will determine the type of protective gear you can use. Now, some of these gears are reusable, some are not. I mean, all of them, from the head protection gear the eye and face protection gear, the ear protection gear, the arm protection gear, the foot protection gear, and now we're discussing the clothing protective gear. All these have both reusable and non-reusable. Now, for the non-reusable, it is important that we dispose them properly. We dispose them properly. So, our supervisor, our employer should have trained us on how to use and dispose properly. And also, there should be someone to monitor that the disposable PPE are properly disposed. Now, for those that are reusable, like act flash clothes, um, overall and coverall, depending if you're American and Britain, the conflict of English, accepting English, either overall or coverall, they are all the same thing. So whichever one that comes first in your mind. Now, the reusable ones, ensure you wash thoroughly so that you can be able to use it again after the operation. Now, there is something I usually tell my students in the physical class, that every individual has body odor. Every individual has body odor. But the degree of the body odor we have is dependent on how much we take care of ourselves. How much we take care of ourselves. So if we have body odor by the virtue of the fact that, one, we sweat. If you sweat, you must have body odor. Two, you're exposed to one death or the other due to the nature of the work you're doing. So there will be body odor. And if that be the case, of course, your clothing will smell. Your clothing will smell because you have exercise and you have sweat on your body. Your clothing will absorb them. Wash them regularly so that you don't create an uncomfortable condition for your co-workers. You don't create an uncomfortable condition for your co-workers because your protective clothing are smelling. Wash them thoroughly, iron them if possible, and come to work clean and refreshed. So once again, the nature of the waste to be handled will determine the type of protective clothing to put on. Now, respiratory protection. So we have also different types of respiratory protection. We have the nose mask. We have the both disposable and reusable nose masks, and the ones that are using cartridge. When the cartridge is choked, you can change the cartridge to be able to uh, breathe a fresh air again. And the ones that have a shield on them. Now, the nature, we cannot overemphasize this. We cannot overemphasize it. We will keep emphasizing it. The nature of the waste to be handled will determine the type of respiratory protection you have to put on. So, what are the conditions for selection of our PPE? Now, know which PPE is required for your work role. It is your responsibility to know that. 2, use the PPE in the manner you have been trained to use them. So sometimes the design of the PPE or the configuration of PPE may not be what we want, but ensure you use it the way you are trained to use them. Ensure your equipment fits comfortably. Is important. So you don't go and choose oversize. You don't go and choose oversize shoe or oversized glove or oversized clothing. Now the danger is this: one, for the clothing, any rotating machinery can trap your clothes. So it's important that you don't wear oversized clothes. For your glove, the glove reduces as much as 30 to 40 degrees dexterity of your hand. Now, with my hand, I can hold this bottle comfortably. But if I wear glove, for example, a leather glove, a welding leather glove, holding this bottle, I will not have is discomforting. It's one of the challenge I have with some of my students. Especially the new ones, wearing the leather glove and trying to pick up something from the floor and walk is always challenging. But as time goes on, as often as they use it, they begin to master how to use the glove. Now, my point here is this: when you put on glove, first thing is that it reduces the dexterity of your hand to the equipment you are handling. And if it reduces the dexterity of your hand and you are using an oversize, of course, the degree will increase. The degree will increase. So try and avoid occasions where you use oversized PPE. Even your boot. Looking at the boot, I have talked about the clothes. I've talked about the glove. Now, even your boot, use an oversized boot. You eventually become an unsafe condition, and you are exhibiting an unsafe act at the same time, because where you walk freely, you will struggle to walk because the boot you are putting on is either oversized or undersized. Imagine that it is tight. You're going to be experiencing pain while discharging your duty. And if it's oversized, it's going to create a kind of clumsiness. So when you are moving up and down, imagine the nature of a walk requires you to go from one place to the other while discharging it. Of course, imagine your movement is like a goat wearing shoe. we should try, we should try and avoid wearing oversized shoe. All right, so be fully trained in the use of your specific PPE. Now, it's the responsibility of your employer or your supervisor to train you, and you should seek. So, a situation where your employer and your supervisor they've not trained you on it, is also your responsibility for you to seek for training so you can use your PPE properly. Now, do not misuse or damage the clothing you have been provided. For any reason whatsoever, do not be destructive to the PPE that has been provided. Now, bear it in mind that your company will spend money to purchase them. The company will spend money to purchase them. If for no other reason, try and apply moral. Try and apply moral. Do not destroy them. Help your company to save help them to save expenses on purchase of PPE. So do not destroy them, except maybe they are destroyed while discharging your duty is a different thing. It's understandable, but arson, deliberate destruction, should not be encouraged. Now, ensure proper care and maintenance of the PPE. Like I emphasized earlier, now I'm going to talk briefly on it. So, for the PPE that are reusable, maintain them, clean them. For example, your safety glass. After use, clean them and keep them properly. Your hard hat, it is dirty, debris that fell on them while you were walking, they are stained. Wash them and clean them and keep them where you can be able to pick them up again and use them. Your clothing, which I have emphasized before, wash them thoroughly so it don't become a case within your work environment. Now, notify your employer immediately if you notice any damage. If your PPE is bad, notify your employer for immediate replacement. Any question? I want to entertain question or contribution before we continue. I hope I'm not alone in the class.
No, we can hear you. I can hear you very well. Well done. I can hear you.
We are with you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, we'll go on to okay, somebody's asking question. Somebody's asking question. What does PPE mean? PPE means personal protective equipment. Personal protective equipment. That is what it means. Okay. I've typed it and I've sent it. Is there another question, please? Is there another question, please? Okay, we'll go on to the next lesson. Lesson 4, which is the last lesson we'll have for today. We're going to talk about manual handling operations. And in this, the objective of this lesson is to understand the risk and hazard associated with manual handling. Then understand the proper lifting technique. So before we carry out any lifting operation, or before we carry out any task that requires us to lift at some point in time or the other, it is important that we carry out risk assessment. Carry risk assessment on the lifting operation. Now, the first thing we need to bear in mind is the task itself. The task itself. What does it require us to do? Are we lifting? Does it require us to push? Does it require us to pull? Does it require us to carry? We have to put this first into consideration. Secondly, we have to look at the load itself. How bulky is the load? What is the size? How is the surface? Is it slippery? Is it rough? Is it such that we will need aid to carry it? How much weight does it bear? Now, talking about this weight. So it is advised that you know your weight first as an individual. You know your body weight. Now, you should not lift any object that is more than half your weight without assistance. That's a safety measure. Do not lift any object more than half of your weight without assistance to avoid incurring injury. Now, unless you are trained, unless you are a trained weight lifter, or in the case of exercise, of course, someone will be there to train you how to lift properly. If you're exercising, if you go to a proper gym, gym setup, there's always people there to train you on how to lift and the lifting technique to apply. But aside being trained as an ordinary person, it is advisable that you don't lift any object that is more than half your weight without assistance. It's a safety measure. After that, we've looked at the task, we've looked at the load. The next thing you need to look at is the individual, him or herself. Are you capable of the lifting operation? Are you pregnant for the case of a woman? For the case of a man? Excuse me. So it's important that you know yourself, you know your capability. For instance, I can carry 20 liters of 20 gallons of water comfortably, and I can also carry 50 liters, but can I lift it comfortably? So these are conditions that we'll have to put into carrying and lifting. They are not the same thing, because you look at stamina, you look at endurance. These are factors that we consider. So look at your physical attribute. Your physical attribute. Like I mentioned now, for a lady, if she's pregnant, what can she lift and at what condition? If you're a man, if you're having waist pain, or maybe you're having any musculoskeletal impediment, it's important that you also put this into consideration. Now, the environment. How does the environment look like? Is it a hill? Is it hilly? Is it a valley? Is it rough? Is it smooth? What is the distance? Is it far? Is it near? Does it require you to climb stairs? So these are factors that you put into consideration. All these put together are what we call risk assessment. It's important that if you have any manual handling operation, you look at steps one at a time, then you resolve on either carry on the manual operation or seeking help or using mechanical aids to carry out this operation. Of course, at a given point in time in our life, I believe that we all have suffered a degree of back pain. I have suffered one myself. Now, this pain may be for a short while, and sometimes this pain may be a prolonged one. Whichever way, at some point in our life, we have suffered a back pain. I want to believe that. I just want to believe that. Okay. Now, there are ways of lifting, the lifting technique. There are 5 steps for us to lift properly. So, we have identified the object we are going to lift. The first thing is to come close to it. Come close to the object we are going to lift. Now, keep your foot at an angle apart. Keep your foot at an angle apart, like this. I believe you can all see me. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So get close to the object you want to lift. Keep your foot at your feet at an angle apart. Then pivot with your knee, not your back. That is, keep your back straight, not bent. Keep your back straight, not bent. So if you keep your feet at an angle. You pivot with your knee. Use your knee to move, keeping your back straight. You move with your knee. Do not move with your back. You are standing straight and you want to pick up the object and you are bending like this. No. It is better that you keep your back straight and you pivot with your knee. Looking at the picture on the screen, you can see the second image. You move with your knee, keeping your back straight and your head forward. Now you grab the object you want to carry. You grab the object you want to carry. Having assessed having carried out a risk assessment, you know if it will require you to wear gloves to carry it. If it requires you to wear gloves, put on your gloves. Now hold the object. The same way you pivoted down, the same way you are pivoting up. You don't bend your back. Keep your vertebrae straight. Your spinal cord, keep it straight. The same way you pivot standing up. Now, when you are lifting up, you can use your arm to support. You can use your arm to support the object you are carrying. Tuck it in to your body to give you balance and stability. Tuck it into your body. You carry it like this. You hold with your arm. You tuck it into your body while you stand erect. Keep your head straight. Do not keep your head down, and then you move to the location where you are going to drop it. So first, get close to the object. Ensure your feet are angled apart. Pivot with your knee. Pivot with your knee, not with your back. If need be for you to use glove, use glove. Hold the object firm. Support with your arm if necessary. Tuck it in. Pivot with your back. Pivot with your knee upward as you are standing. Stand erect. Keep your head straight, and then move on. So these are the basic, simple steps for lifting heavy weight. We call it a dead weight. For lifting heavy weight. On the classroom, I've posted the variety of video explaining this that will guide us on how to lift dead weight. I believe we are utilizing those materials in the classroom. Okay. So this is what I've been explaining. You pivot with your knee and not with your back for heavy load. But if it is a light load like a football, a tennis ball, paper on the floor, pivoting with your back is not harmful. It's not harmful. But as long as the weight is heavy, pivot with your knee and not your back. Any question or contribution? You have experience to share? So we talked about protective equipment, personal protective equipment. We have talked about manual handling. If you have any question, you have any experience to share, kindly come on, the floor is open. Hello, am I alone? Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. So, you have any question to ask or have any experience to share from what we have been discussing? The floor is open. You can ask a question. You can share an experience.
I think for me, I'm fine. I'm good so far.
Okay. Choma, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Well done, man. Emmanuel Obioha.
So I'm with you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, well done, sir. All right. Mr. Sylvia. Sylvia, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, it's a lady. Sorry, I'm calling you Mister. I didn't know you are a lady. Okay. We have come to the end of today's class. I've come to the end of today's class. I want to advise that we utilize the materials in the Google Classroom. Now the link is out. I sent us mail to access the classroom, but it's like it's only few persons that are able to get it. Now the link is up on our WhatsApp group. Encourage others to uh, click on the link and join the classroom. Assessment will be conducted, and one of the assessments that is going to be conducted is attendance in this class, virtual class. It has its own percentage in the assessment, and we're going to have a final test, which will be duly communicated to us in the Google Classroom. Every information concerning this course will be communicated to us in the Google Classroom. So it's important that we join the classroom and get informed adequately. Thank you. My colleagues, there are two of them here, Mr. Abiola and Mr. James. Please, if you have any information for us, kindly
Okay.
communicate.
Yeah. First, I would like to thank everybody for participating in today's training, and I hope it was edifying enough. So we're just trying to make sure that we make it as comfortable as possible. I know it's not easy taking this class maybe after work or some of you during work sessions, but we thank you. We encourage you to please continue this program. Other information has been dropped either on your WhatsApp group or in the classroom. So just take advantage of the materials you find there. And for any difficulties accessing any of these videos or materials, you can always reach out on WhatsApp, and we'll would reply as soon as we can. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. James.
Yes.